Hello, hello, my dear friends, you've reached Elena's bar. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. She'll help improve your fitness, but there's also so much more. 'Cause here are just a few things that this channel has in store. There's Barre and there's Pilates and there's belly dancing too. And many styles of yoga, so I'm sure there's one for you. Then watch her practice pianist stream from right within her home. She's in such big condition, she'll outrun the metronome. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. They're the best place on the internet, the very best by far. It's not just the piano, but the ukulele too. The guitar and violin are even more that she can do. She does so many different things, it's hard not to lose track. I nearly didn't mention that she posts on her Substack. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. Yet controversial topics may be brought up for discussion, but try not to provoke her or she'll swear at you in Russian. And sometimes certain topics can make quite a big impression. So remember, you take part at your own risk and your discretion. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far. You might even meet Elena if you're quite a loyal fan. She's got a fixed male cat, but she's so desperate for a man. We've really got it all, and you couldn't ask for more. So sit right back and watch Elena shave a 3 or 4. Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre. The best place on the internet, the very best by far.
Hello, my dear friends. Welcome back to Elena's Barre and the Resurgence of Sanity. How are you doing, guys?
I'm doing well.
Doing well. And Plutarch, finally.
Oh, I'm always around.
I know. But it's
I
so
think
great to have you.
I think I'm here this morning because somebody's fishing for compliments.
Oh, really?
Uh-huh.
Well, feel free to be
That's
honest.
just the reality.
Yeah, be honest though, because even if you find the green flags in a woman, there is always something that that could be, you know, suspicious. Anyway, yeah, guys, today we are talking about the traffic light, how Steve mentioned in a woman, what to look for in a woman, because we got a request from Shu Tai, and I hope that he catches this video, guys. Tell us what you think about these topics. Also, feel free to share your experience and observations about women. What would you pay attention to? And if you don't catch us live, leave a comment after watching the replay. We appreciate your feedback. Yeah, and before we dive in, guys, please like, share, and subscribe. It always helps the channel. So yeah, about these flags, guys, what would you pay attention to when you were dating a woman for long-term relationship? We are not talking about the hookup. We are talking about long-term relationship.
Yeah, before we get into that, I have a question for Plutarch.
Yes, sir.
Plutarch, did you find the ready-made perfect woman in Elena?
No. Sorry, guys, but no.
Okay, so that's... I knew that was going to be the answer. So let's start out with the perfect woman does not exist.
Okay.
If you're looking for one, you know what? You're going to fail. And because your expectations are going to be too high, and you won't be prepared for the amount of work as a man that you're going to have to put in to the relationship. I'm going to say something that's controversial: to manage your woman.
I agree with the word manage, because anybody who thinks they're doing anything else is probably deluding themselves.
Okay. Yeah, okay.
So,
Just for a couple of women who might join us to watch, how would you describe manage?
oh, before we get there, we've already discovered or uncovered one of the traits that you want to find in a woman. He has to be manageable.
Okay.
There you go. Now, we tend to use as men different words for this. The red pill has their words. You'll hear the word submissive a lot. It's a good word. A submissive woman is very likely to be more manageable than a combative battle axe, for example. I mean, I think that follows. But manageable also means not just submissive, but willing to change and adapt. And I'm thinking about my time in corporate America here. A manager's job was to manage the team, was to adapt the team to the needs of the project. Now, in this case, the project is the relationship. So the woman has to be willing to adapt to the needs of the relationship.
So if you were, well, let's assume you were the head of the group, but same thing applies if you're not the head. Either way, if you're not the head, you complain about someone being a micromanager. They're telling you every aspect, and they're looking over your shoulder, and they're giving scrutiny to every little trivial thing you do. And it's no fun. And from the manager's perspective, he or she is being an idiot because they don't know everything, and it takes an immense amount of effort. So, you want to, the relationship should be, I'm talking in a business relationship between you and your boss. It needs to delegate the task, then monitor your performance on the task, but not micromanage what you're doing. You need to have, okay, he sets the goal and the boundary, and then, or what the boundaries are. And so now go forth and do that. And then come back and keep me up to date with what's going on. And I'm not going to be looking over you every day, every hour to make sure what you're doing. Well, isn't that what we want in a man-woman relationship? I mean, the man, yeah, I want to be in charge. I want to delegate things to her. Then I want to be able to trust that she will get the task done. And I don't want to have to micromanage her in every little aspect of it. She needs to have some self-motivation and ability to put in some work. And, just as in the employment relationship, give a task. You want them to go off and, do some work, do some planning, develop a plan, action items, pros and cons, and resources needed, and what are the finances. Do some homework, and then come back to the boss and say, okay, here's what I've figured out. Here's my approach. Here's what I'm going to do.
Hey, Steve.
Are incapable of that. You don't like it. You should do the same thing with a woman. Now go ahead.
I want to add another word to that, your list of traits, and that's discipline.
That's a big one.
Because, and this works in employment and in relationships, because when I was in corporate, I had to have the discipline to get the work done. My boss could trust me that I would get it done because I had the discipline to do it. And I'm thinking about Elena here. So I don't know, it's a popular subgenre of YouTube videos, but there's all these couple YouTuber streamers, and the men are always complaining about how these women go into Target and they turn into these feral shoppers. They would much rather empty the store out before they think about it. And so the men are constantly having to go with the women. You were talking about micromanaging, right? The men,
Yes.
yeah, exactly. The men have to go with the women to the store to prevent the women from cleaning the store out and cleaning out the bank account. I do not go to the store with Elena. She was given a list of goods to buy at the grocery store yesterday. We worked that out on the basis of our needs over the next week. She went off to the store. I went back to work. She got the list, put them away, did everything correctly. I was free to work. I was free to do my job.
So does a woman make your life a little easier, or she complicates it? Meaning that you constantly have to micromanage her. Does she do her job so that you can do your job?
Pretty much. I mean, what you're talking when you say discipline, and I was going to bring up that word too, but I'm glad you did. What you're describing is self-discipline.
Correct.
Now you gave her the task. How how rigid was it? Did she have any discretion to buy something that wasn't on the list?
Let me tell you a little story about that, because she actually did do that yesterday, and she got an Attagirl for doing it. So there's a particular brand of energy bar that we use, and I like to eat them before streams so that I'm not, glucose crashing on people halfway through. Okay. Well, they're not cheap, and the store nearby doesn't always carry them. But she knows I like them. She knows that we use them. They're a streaming thing, and she said, and she looked at the price at the store had them this time. She looked at the price and she said, "Oh, this is cheaper than Amazon," because I told her what they cost on Amazon, and she said,
Okay.
"Oh, I'll buy the store out."
I didn't clean them out. Yeah,
She did, but the point is, she had the discretion to do that because she saw something that she knew we needed more of, and took care of it.
Yeah, I mean, exactly. It's not, you can only go this far. You have rigid boundaries. No, here's our general goals. And, and like if she saw a $5 frivolous item, junk food or whatever, and she bought that for herself because she just wanted it. Is that the end of the world? Chocolate? Yeah. No. Or if she bought that too much of something, but it's something you use, and now you have a 3-month supply.
Don't care.
But what if you did care? Oh, wait. The solution, the problem is solved in 3 months.
Pretty much.
It's still not a big deal.
Right.
it's still consumable. It's not.
Right.
Well, it's
it's not like going buying a car and having to pay for it for the next 84 months. It doesn't have long-term implications. So yeah, she's got discretion. And how much discretion? Well, that's based
up to her.
on your experience, and it's flexible, but it is kind of based on how much self-discipline she has.
Exactly. The more self-discipline a woman exercises, the more discretion she will be allowed to have. Because if I know you're not going to go off and destroy the bank account every time you go out, because I know you have self-discipline, I might look at that and I might go, yeah, okay, not my first choice. But you don't do it that often. And in this particular case, she saw something that she knew we needed. She knew we were running low. They had a good price. Yeah, take care of the problem. Because here's another thing that's really useful going back to the story of the manager at a corp. What does a manager at a corp really love it when employees do? They see a problem, they bring the problem to the manager, and then they solve the problem.
Like proactive, being a little proactive.
You have to know where your boundaries are and how
Yeah.
far you can go, because it's not when, and to you ladies out there, when you work for a manager at a business, it's not your time. You are selling your time to the manager. And if he has other things he wants you to do with his time, okay, he'll tell you that. So you bring it to him, and then he can tell you what he wants you to do with it.
I do that. Okay. I'm a truck driver. I show up in the morning, 2, 3 a.m. And every once in a while, the route assignments are messed up, or someone comes in and they're supposed to do something, but they don't have enough hours left, working hours left on the clock, and it's going to mess things up. So my boss doesn't really get up until, well, he shows up at 6 a.m. I mean, he's got to sleep. He gets phone calls at night too. I don't want to disturb him. I know what leeway I have. And if I can solve the problem and say, oh, you do this, I'll do that, it's all covered. Then when my boss shows up, call him up and say, hey, this is what we did. Okay. Because you saw the problem. You didn't have to go get permission. You have that level of discretion.
Mm-hmm.
And you make the problem go away before it even becomes a problem. Now, yeah, sometimes, depending on the person, you can get chastised after the fact. Well, you really should have called me. Then you say, yeah, okay. Well, I know next time. And okay, that problem's over. Even if you get scolded a little bit, not the end of the world, because you didn't create huge problems.
Well, right. And so if you're a woman and you're out there cleaning out Target, you're creating huge problems. You're creating huge financial problems. If you're out there doing your daily food shopping and you see something on sale that you guys would normally buy anyway, and you pick up a couple extra, I don't know of any reasonable guy who's gonna get on your case about that. Most guys are gonna say, "Oh, it was on sale, and you got a couple extra." Good.
This is what I usually do if I see something on sale, and I know that we will use it. I know that we will eat it. I try to stock up so that next time I don't have to buy it.
Yeah.
So now let's use a different example. Kind of the same thing though. That Target. She sees some item that costs $1,000 and she really wants it. Okay, so does she have the discretion to buy it? Is that
No.
crossing the boundary?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so what should she do? She should go, oh, there's that item, $1,000. Oh, this would make our life or my life so much better. And she should come home, write down what she wants, develop a plan, pros and cons, figure out why she wants it, and how to get to that point to buy it. Okay, it's not going to be tomorrow.
Nope.
Maybe it'll take you up. Is he going to say no?
Maybe.
Probably not, but he's going to say, oh, do you have a plan to how we're going to get here? Oh, yeah. $1,000. You know what? Here's what I'm going to do. I can save some money in this area, and we can put away an extra $100. I can find a way to save $50. And then I'm asking if we can put aside $100 extra a month. That's $150. So what do you got? 7 months? And this
Roughly.
is just hypothetical. So she has a plan to get to where she wants to go and a pay in advance in a not immediate gratification.
Mm-hmm.
How are you going to get there? In it's most women do not have this ability because men don't force them to learn this. And I say force as loosely. They say a need, want, and we will come into their rescue
Mm-hmm.
before they do the work. Oh, if I asked her to come up with a plan, her brain doesn't think that way. She would throw a hissy fit. She wouldn't know where to get started. Oh, I can't do that. Oh, it would make my life miserable. Sorry, buddy, you got it wrong. You got to tell her no, come up with a plan, and we'll discuss it. Now, if she goes away, comes back, I don't know how to do a plan.
You've got some more work to do there, buddy. Guy.
Then you get to teach her.
Yeah.
Okay, I will help you develop a plan. We'll develop a plan together. I need you to know figure out, okay, money comes from work. And it's going to be my work or your work. But you have to value my work if you're expecting me to do that. So therefore, we're going to come up with a plan. So you understand the pros and cons. And if we do this, we're not going to be able to do that thing over there that you wanted. Now, are you willing to make that trade-off? Because her brain doesn't naturally work that way.
Well, I mean, so a couple of notes here, guys. First of all, for you guys out there, what Steve is describing is relationship finance 101. If you can't do this, do not bother getting into a long-term relationship with a woman. But also remember, women are impulse buyers, and the market knows that, which is why women are responsible for the creation of most credit debt out there. Women use credit cards, and women will happily fill up credit cards. There was a few months ago, there was this rash of TikTok videos where moms were explaining to their young daughters that, you know, people weren't just giving them money on credit cards, that they were actually going to have to pay it back, because the young lady was like, oh, well, I'll just go get another credit card and I'll get more money. And they were just flabbergasted to find out from the mom that they were going to have to pay that money back. You know, Steve, you're absolutely right. Women they don't think this way. And so they just instant gratification with the credit card.
I think what you're saying is women do not understand the link between labor and money.
Correct. So Elena does not have access to a credit card. She just doesn't.
Thanks God.
She has a debit card that has real cash on it, that is kept separate. She can put, you know, if she wants to do some clothes shopping, you know, she needs something, she can put it on that card. It won't damage our finances. Okay? She knows that. The food goes on a charge card that we pay off every month.
Yeah.
That's what she has access to. That's it.
So there's boundaries.
Yes, there are.
What if her wants exceed those boundaries?
Then it's conversation time.
Oh, communication. Wow.
I wanted to mention it, but Plutarch went ahead and did it. I usually, if it exceeds a certain amount, like if it's over, let's say 100, 150, like within that range, I always ask him. Because if he's in charge of the money, and this is what I would say to women, especially those of you ladies, where a man pays for most of the bills, and even if you work but your income is not significant and you don't contribute anything to pay off your expenses, it's like your money is your money, kind of. Then ask your husband if you want to make a big expense, because he is the one who will be paying it off, you know. And if he doesn't agree, then don't buy it. You don't
He's
need it.
the one. Let me say it more clear. He's the one who's going to have to work
Yes.
and do labor. And, you know, depending on his job, maybe sweat
Yes.
to pay it off. His sweat pays off her purchases.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So Elena asks, but she was trained that way, guys.
Yeah.
It didn't start that way.
Yeah, I did it with my dad. My dad would always, he wouldn't give me money for stupid things. If it's something that would educate me, like he was big into courses. He wanted me to be smart for some reason. So yeah, he would pay a lot for my education, for my language classes, for all of the trips that I took due to work, and also he was funding most of those trips. And yeah, he wouldn't give me money for some stupid things. You know, I would
So,
I would even have to work for the money that I would get from my dad. So it's either studying or doing some actual work, you know.
so you had to learn English,
Yeah.
and he probably paid for that.
Oh,
Was
a
your
lot.
learning English a useful skill?
Oh, very useful. I use it every day.
Would you have found your husband if you had not learned English?
Probably not.
No, interesting. Guys, I do not speak Russian outside of a few words. And occasionally I drop them on her and she goes, "Oh, Russian."
Yeah.
So let's circle back to the beginning. Plutarch did not find a ready-made perfect woman.
Huh.
Because they don't exist. So since Elena wants some props today, what traits did she have that are make her a good choice? And she is. Oh, I'll just say this: she's not the problem entitled 8, 9, 10 beauty.
Mm.
Because they are a pain in the ass.
Mm-hmm.
Like owning an exotic sports car, the maintenance costs are insane. No.
It's true.
Don't just go for, a 6 or 7. Then, great. Okay, so in that beauty range, because their maintenance costs and their expectations tend to be more realistic. But even if you get one of those hot women, there's lots of men who are not getting sex are bored with sex from their hot woman. It doesn't matter. It's not dictated on her beauty level, assuming it's good enough. So, what should you look for? It's character, the character of the woman. So, what do you have to say about that?
How do you think okay, so we've said this before, she was not, we were not in the same country when we met. So that means that we did the long distance thing. So how, and I'm asking Steve, Elena, because you actually know the answer. How do you think Elena demonstrated this concept of self-discipline in the long distance relationship? You don't know the answer, so I'm kind of hanging you out to dry.
I don't know the answer. I'm saying, in general, you thought she was giving you honest answers. Character, she was not asking you for money.
Okay.
And the third one, I would hope that you asked about her family and saw how she described her father.
Oh, that's a complex. So that last one's a complex topic. Like, and that's not all of that story do we have permission to share. So,
okay.
However, one of the things that showed up early on is she was actually very disciplined about keeping our, so we would talk almost every day. And she was actually very disciplined about keeping our appointments. I'm going to use that word. Now, and we wouldn't, every day was a negotiation. I would have something on some days, she would have something on, and we'd have to move it around. There were some days where we both kind of agreed that, yeah, we didn't have the time. Okay. So there was communication, but there was discipline. We always made sure that if we were going to miss, the other person knew why, so that discipline showed up very early. You see what I'm saying? I was able to vet for discipline without even being in the same country.
On the father issue, I'm not talking about any details here.
No, I know.
Or circumstances. I am just saying, in general, even though her father undoubtedly is an imperfect man, as all men are, in general, does she speak respectfully about him? It's nothing to do with the details. Is she blaming her father for her situation or her mother's situation? Or is she generally respectful of her father? Because that general respect for her father will indicate her character when it comes from her capacity to respect her husband. If she doesn't respect her father, sorry guys, she's not going to respect you.
That's so true.
I would say that she respected her father. There's so much I can't say though. There were other parts of the story that, that I'll put it to you this way, guys. Remember what we said about she's not perfect? And she knows what I'm referring to, but there was a whole lot of not perfect that had to be worked through.
It's one of the reasons why I got red-pilled, guys.
In fact, I would say her family, I can say this. Her family is the entire reason I red-pilled her. And I did it on purpose, and I did it years and years later. We were already married, and it was a conscious decision on my part to do it to her. Thank you, Mr. Kevin Samuels.
I can build on that.
Yeah, and then Rollo Tomasi too, because I was binge watching a lot of their videos. Yeah.
Okay, women, have past. Okay, that past is called baggage.
Mm-hmm.
And the baggage comes from their upbringing, their parents' relationship, their experiences with other men, in the sexual area, whatever. It's baggage.
Yep.
Okay, so when she talks about her father, does she, I'm talking about some other theoretical woman. Let's say I'm looking for a woman. She talks about her father, and I ask her, is she talking about always with absolute respect for her father? Probably not.
Yeah,
that's
not.
Delusional. Does she have issues with her father? Well, no shit. Every woman does.
Yep.
Is there some traumatic events where she's really uncertain as to what's going on, and she may have decided that her father was a bad guy and the mother was the good person? Okay, that happens. But in general, is she open to discussing that and to learning? Okay, from my man perspective, can we explore what your father was going through and why he may have made some of those decisions, why he may have made some of those mistakes? Now, is she open to understanding and rethinking that and entertaining the idea that maybe he was a better man than I've been giving him credit for?
Steve, let me see if I can.
This is a complex issue. It's no cut, hard, and fast rule here.
Well, let me see it. Let me see if I can throw out a couple words without getting too personal on her situation. There were some. I know we're doing green flags, but I'll put it to you this way: there were some red flags I didn't see in relation to her father. She never spoke about him with disgust or contempt. Ever. She might have been angry with him, Hell, we all get angry with our parents at some point. That's nothing new. But she never spoke about him with disgust or contempt.
Well, I would just put a star beside that statement. Bingo. That is it. Disgust and contempt.
Because this is how she's going to treat her husband.
Exactly.
And I know in my divorce, once my ex number 1 and ex number 2 started treating me with contempt, it was over. There was with disgust and contempt, the blame comes along. Everything is blamed on him. It's unrecoverable in 99% of the cases. No, that is she's emotionally made up her mind, and no facts or additional information will change that to the extent that she will absolutely put up barriers and boundaries to gaining any new information that might change her emotional decision.
Yep.
That is the huge red flag. The green flag is if she discusses her father and her parents and her past without disgust or contempt. Hey, anger is fine. That's natural.
Well, anger
And
also,
we've also touched upon another thing that we've not highlighted here. This is open communication and the ability to talk about these things. Now, that's another huge green flag. Is she willing to talk about these things?
anger is also kind of justified considering the fact how brainwashed women have been. And I think that to some degree, I have been brainwashed too.
Well, I don't think justified is the word I would use. I think it's understandable.
Understandable.
Right. Because in this particular case, and I know your full story, I wouldn't call it justified.
Yeah.
But knowing the story I know, I can understand how you got there.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to say any more than that, guys. But excuse me.
Well, if a woman is angry at her dad for something that she has been brainwashed into thinking, like her mother might have put some effort into that, and society telling women how horrible men are, and it just all accumulates, especially if she went through college, who was effectively brainwashing her. It's going to be very hard for women to see it for what it is. This is all I'm trying to say here.
Yeah. Therefore, the conclusion of this is every woman you meet comes with baggage.
Yep.
And you're going to have to discuss her baggage and unpack it.
Now, guys, I want to stop. You're not her therapist. Okay. And you can't be that guy, but you're still going to have to talk about it because you as the guy need to understand it.
And you can't fix her.
No.
And okay, Plutarch, I'd like to dive into this. Try to understand here. So what if she is outlandish delusional and she's into astrology or into other woo-woo things? What would you recommend to men to do that? Would you recommend them to try to understand her, or just say that, like, I'm not dealing with this crazy? Is it worth it of trying?
That's going to be up to the man, whether or not he's willing to deal with that. Okay. And look, if we threw out women because they're delusional, no man would ever get involved with a woman because they're all delusional. So it kind of comes down to what forms of delusion is the man willing to work with. Steve, you have something to say, I can tell.
Yeah. I had a text back and forth with Elena. I think it was yesterday. Basically said every woman is born delusional.
I saw
And
that one.
yeah, okay. They're going to stay delusional. That's their feral state.
Yes.
They have a capacity to be more, well, this is an imperfect word, but more rational. But that comes through self-discipline.
Mm-hmm.
And that is taught at an earlier age, primarily by the father. He doesn't have to be perfect, but he needs to provide some external discipline, boundaries, so then she can learn that boundaries are here for good, and she can impose some boundaries upon herself. That's self-discipline.
Yep.
So at that point, okay, in general, she might be a worthwhile woman. But, he's not the unicorn. Okay, she comes and she was delusional majorly when she was born. Now she's not so delusional. She has self-discipline. Therefore, gee, I can just wife up this woman and she's not going to be any problems, and I don't have to watch over and continue to manage her. She's a self-managing woman.
No such thing, gentlemen. No such thing.
You have to find the good woman who is manageable. Work, have open discussions and communication. And then you're going to have to continue to manage her for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
You know what, guys? You out there working in the corporate world, you're a drone and you have a manager above you. Yeah, your manager is going to manage you till the day he either leaves the company or dies in his chair. It's no different there either. Humans need direction. Why do we treat women like they don't?
And the other thing is, it's always permanent and always exists is hierarchy.
Bingo.
And even if you say, oh, we're just going to be all equals.
Nah.
Man, what? You're asking for chaos. Would you ever be an equal with an employee? No. If you ever think, oh, I'm in a marriage partnership, we get equal decisions. No, that means that her emotions are going to rule. And she's going to exercise veto power. A man cannot, okay, I'm going to just say this. A man cannot be in a partnership with a woman without becoming the junior partner.
Correct. Because the man always has something that he wants from the woman. The woman does not always have something that they want from the man right now. And of course, I am speaking about sex. Women, particularly they don't really want sex with the junior partner, but the man still wants sex with his wife. This man still wants sex with his LTR. So he's always going to put himself in the position of being the lesser person in the relationship. And you guys, you can't avoid this. This is, Nick's not here. He has his kids today. But he would say this is just natural law. This is I would say this is physics. You can't change these rules. This is just how it is.
And notice the moment a man becomes lesser than her, she loses all respect for him.
Natural law. Exactly. A woman cannot have respect for a man who is begging for her.
All too often in the dating courtship phase, the woman says, oh, I love you. I love you so much. I love you with all my heart. I've never loved anybody like you before. You're the greatest man. oh man, I just love you. Guys, just dismiss that,
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
because a woman's idea or comprehension of love is in emotion. Just go back to Ephesians 5. A man should love his wife. A wife should respect her husband.
Yeah, there is no
Okay,
love
I'm not saying just disregard or dismiss, but you know what? Don't put her love for you as a decision criteria. Yeah, okay, it's nice. But you need to watch her actions, and does she respect you? Does she exhibit contempt? Is she critical? Is she condescending? Does she want to overrule your decisions? Does she, when you say no, and that's a word you should use quite a bit,
Yep.
not because you want to deprive her, but because there's boundaries. Now, does she beg and plead and manipulate and say, well, if you say no, I'm cutting off sex?
Massive
well,
red flag.
Yeah, that's a
that
massive
is a
one.
red, yeah, huge. Okay, you are not going to tolerate any contempt or disgust or her trying to assert her dominance over you. You're just not going to tolerate this emotional manipulation. Well, the way you're acting, I don't know if I can love you anymore. Yeah, just sit back and say, yeah, okay. Well, you know what? There's the door. This is my decision. You can stay or you can leave. You know what? This is not an ultimatum. This is, hey, honey, here's the boundary. And you know what? You have the freedom to leave.
Mhm.
You're coming into my life. This is the way it's going to be. And if you don't like this and you think it's super oppressive, I'm not holding you here. You're not my slave.
Well, and this gets to another green flag. How does she react when you start placing boundaries on the relationship? And Steve was talking about it, but if she goes, and you'll hear this in the red pill as women, they make rules for betas and they break rules for alphas. Okay, well, here's the thing: you will see that. We were talking about manipulation. You will see that manipulative women will appear early on in a relationship to submit to the boundaries, but they're always testing the boundaries. They're always looking for a sign that you're going to drop your guard, and then they're going to pay attention to what caused you to drop your guard. So this, I'm not calling this shit testing because it's not shit testing. This is a very intentional manipulation program. Shit testing is just it's just you and the woman having a negotiation over, what she thinks she can get away with, but how you'll react. She's testing you.
Dylan, can you give us an example of the situation where how is it different from the shit test that women typically run on their husbands?
Shit tests tend to be events. Okay, so
Mhm.
a shit test, a woman is going to throw something at you, something you've probably not heard before from them or seen before from them, and they're going to, and the purpose is to watch how you react. What I'm talking about is a more concerted effort to test the boundaries of the relationship to see what you can get away with. Not but in a certain direction, as in, what is the best method to get this guy to betatize himself for me? Okay. So when we're talking, shit testing is not it's not a campaign to betatize men. Okay. Shit testing is, I'm testing you. And I know there's this
Is
distinction.
it based on like female psyche, how women just view things, because if even
No, it's more manipulation. So I would say
Okay.
shit testing is female nature.
this is what I was
Okay,
trying to
it's
say. Uh-huh.
this is a more manipulative thing about trying to get shit testing is not about trying to get the man
Yeah.
to. It's not about trying to manipulate the man into a submission. It's about testing the man. I mean, it's literally in the phrase, right?
Test his masculinity.
Right.
Mhm.
What I'm talking about here is more subtle. It's about trying to manipulate you into giving up your masculinity for the woman. And this is I know this is a fine distinction here, and there will be both going on at the same time. But if a woman is manipulating you, gaslighting you, okay, massive red flags. So a green flag is a woman who, when she encounters a relationship boundary, she goes, okay, that's the boundary, and she accepts it. I'm not saying that shit testing doesn't happen, but she accepts the boundary for what it is.
Can I?
Go ahead.
No, I'm going to give you an analogy here.
Please do.
We know as men that I am 2 or 3 times stronger than her. I can physically do whatever I want. I can wrap my arms around her. I can. Okay. I'm not going to describe it. You can have your way. You can do whatever you want physically because you're stronger. There's nothing that she can do about it. Yeah, she can put up a little bit of a fight, but that's reality.
They tilted the legal system against men.
Okay, but that is, I don't even care about that. Men have the potential of force and power and muscles. Women do not have that. Therefore, women are going to use they've developed powers of manipulation and persuasion.
Yep.
Now, the most men, and you have self-discipline over your power and force, and you do not use it against her. Very few men do. That is self-discipline, because you could do it. You just, no, I have self-discipline. I'm not going to physically force or harm my woman. That's self-discipline. Okay, her powers of manipulation, she has them. Does she have the self-discipline to not use those powers against you? And I think that's what Plutarch is talking about here. When women don't recognize that, and they are using their powers of manipulation, which, you know what, to be honest, most men are pretty much powerless to resist.
Long term, definitely.
Yeah. I mean, she's going to prevail with her powers of persuasion and manipulation in most cases, unless he makes a conscious effort, he engages, he understands, no, I have the authority and responsibility, and I can say no. And yes, she can throw a hissy fit, but I'm not going to be a slave to her emotional state.
I actually have a comment to add here. When I hear women on social media whining and complaining why men don't want to wife them up, ladies, the problem is that men legally are not allowed to be masculine anymore. Because even like Steve was mentioning, he should have the authority in the family to take the decisions, and then he should have self-discipline not to hurt a woman, not to use his force against her. But women are okay using their force, the female force of persuasion, against men collectively. Look at the laws, look at the institutions, what is happening in church now. It's like men are bad, men are evil, women are perfect. There is nothing wrong that women can do. And how did church get there? This is through manipulation.
Well, I think we've beat that one to death, guys. I mean, here's the thing: we're talking about long-term relationships, so these are things you should be looking for when you're vetting for long-term relationships. If this is just and you might just demote her to plate number 5. Okay, that's women are constantly telling you how to value them. They might try to tell you how they think you should value them, but they are always telling you how to value them. And yeah, sometimes women just get valued as plates. Nothing wrong with that. If you're a Christian guy, I would say, okay, there might be something wrong with that, but that's a different discussion for a different day.
Yeah.
It just in general terms, she is always telling you how to value her relationship potential. So yeah, we're talking green flags. Well, but why do we talk about red flags? Well, in some cases, it's the absence of a red flag that is the green flag, because and you're going to hear this word a lot. You're going to hear this discipline word a lot, because a woman who doesn't try to manipulate the hell out of you every chance she gets probably has some self-discipline. Okay, and we've already established that we consider self-discipline a core green flag. So think of this as another example of, how a woman not displaying red flags can also be a green flag by itself. Because, look, there are women out there for whom they are just red flags. And most of you red pill guys, you're going to see those girls coming. We're not really talking about those girls here. We're talking about the girls that actually want to try and get a man for a long-term relationship. So,
Okay, I got another area to move into. I'm going to start out with that we've all been to the doctor for a physical, or to the dentist. And, okay, oh, doc, my shoulder's hurting me. What does he do? He puts hands on you. He starts poking and prodding around, and he touches one spot, and you go, ah! Okay. Oh, that gives him information. That's where the problem is. Or the dentist is prodding around in your teeth, and all of a sudden, ah! Okay, yep, we got a problem here. So, guys, should you intentionally try to trigger a woman? Okay, this is a new theory of mine. I'm going to say yes. Okay, remember, she's got all this baggage. You need to communicate and discuss things. And, okay, I'm proposing you ask some questions about common areas of baggage and watch how she reacts. Now, what areas would that be? Well, the things you're concerned about. Okay, have you been sexually assaulted, SA'd in the past? Okay, then that opens up a discussion. If he reacts hugely, out of proportion, there's something there. If she then describes some past thing that she's blaming on SA, could be to avoid accountability. Another area is abortion. If she's not going to volunteer that information, but you need to know that, because there's great guilt and shame in hiding of that. So you ask her, have you had one? Watch her reaction. If it's out of proportion, Why would you ever ask such a thing of me? Blah, blah, blah. And she just blows up. It's like the doctor poking that muscle. And you go, oh, because that's
Mhm.
where the sore spot is. So, in the communication process, do not avoid the things that might trigger her emotions. And, okay, keep in mind, women are emotional creatures and they will react and tell you. You're going to have to watch the reaction to what the trigger was, because you do not want to be going through life being afraid to trigger a woman and not knowing what her baggage is. So what do you think about intentionally talking about things that may trigger a woman?
You got to do it. And it's going to suck because she's not going to react well, and you're not going to enjoy watching this person you care about react very negatively. That's, in many cases, why they react so negatively. Just by doing it, you're going to learn something. But also pay attention to how emotional she gets when talking about others in her life. Like her family. How emotional does she get when she's talking about her, her mom, her brother, her sister, her cousin, right? You're going to learn a lot about her emotional stability. And I realize that I am talking to a spectrum here. There are some women who are very emotionally unstable, but there are some who are, this goes back to discipline. Even if they're not emotionally, no woman's emotionally stable, but right. But with a little bit of discipline, they'll squelch the worst aspects of it. Okay. And so emotional modulation or emotional self-regulation, again, I'm not saying that she's never going to be angry. They're humans, not automatons, right? Look, a human woman is not a sex bot. If that's what you're looking for, you can go buy that. We're not talking to you guys about that. We're talking about human women. Hell, I've got emotions too. And I'm not always perfect in my squelching and modulation of them. So you're looking for a woman who can modulate their emotions. So there's two sides to this. Steve is talking about intentionally provoking a response. You're going to learn a lot about their ability to modulate emotions when you do it.
Yeah.
And that makes it a good thing. But also watch how they modulate their emotions when they are talking about something and you didn't push them to do it. Okay.
They will. Okay, let's say you come information. Some other young woman was promiscuous, had an abortion, had an affair. How does she talk about that to you?
Mm-hmm.
How does she want you to process that information? Is she
Yes.
making excuses for that other woman? Okay, remember, every woman primarily processes information from her own personal experience. So what she says about them would be essentially how it should apply to me if or when I was in that situation. And I think that's what you're saying, Plutarch. You can observe
Yep.
without triggering her how she's talking about it. But I think, okay, remember, man, you are making an immense commitment to a woman
Oh, yeah.
financially.
Mm-hmm.
In marriage, she has all the legal power. You need to try and trigger to uncover some of these things. It's on you. And yes, it's not a pleasant task.
Guys.
And yeah, if she's generally self-disciplined and you're able to talk about it, okay, good. And you know what? She's not going to be perfect in those areas. If it's a sore spot, she has scars, which, and it needs to be brought to light. No, you're not her counselor. But just exposing it to light, to truth, to being able to talk about it, does not let the wound continue to be hidden and fester and just turn into a cancerous growth, because it will if it doesn't see the light of day.
Guys, a great example of how to trigger a woman, and you can see this example play out on places like X. Ask her what her body count is.
But a lot of red pill guys, I've heard that it's a useless question that you can ask a woman.
Oh, it's a useless question. Is really? That's a
Well,
new one to
I've
me.
heard so many guys in the manosphere
wrong.
say that it's just pointless to ask
Yeah,
your,
it's pointless
your
because
body
she.
count because she's going to lie anyway.
Oh, no. I don't. Oh, okay. No,
Oh,
okay.
that's great.
Do I care about the lie? No. I'm not looking. This goes exactly to the point Steve was trying to make.
Mhm.
I'm not looking for the number. I'm looking for how she reacts, because every day on Twitter there will be some girl saying, "Well, if a guy asks about your body count, you need to drop him. He's one of those guys." And all I'm thinking when I read that is, so your body
It has
count
very high body count.
well, yeah, it's got 3 digits or 4 digits in the number, right? That's the only thing I'm thinking, because she's sitting here exploding on social media about this.
That's true,
How
so
you
true.
win, guys. And look, I knew, I asked Elena's body count. It wasn't day 1, but it was on our first meeting, because we had to schedule things. We had like a few days together, and then I had to leave. Right? It was that was number 1. And here's the thing: she didn't blow up at me. Oh, wow.
Yeah, I just told this.
If you dare, okay. You say, "Oh, what's your body count?" "Oh, my body count is 9." And you say, "Oh, great. Does that include all that count? None of them that don't count, and none that you can't remember?"
Yep.
Because, okay, he mentally prepared to give that number and sell that number. Now you asked a follow-up question, which takes her off of her preconceived idea how she's going to answer it. Now, is that going to trigger her? Because this is not just, "What's your body count?" "Oh, check number, check off." Or, "No,
one
there's
that
no
looks
point
nice,
asking
yeah.
because you're going to lie." Okay, well then you have no information. But asking her and discussing it and saying, "Gee, the general rule of thumb for men is multiply by 3. Okay, well, gee, you said 9? Oh, 27. That's way too many for me." Okay. You know what? You need to make it real and see how she reacts. If she really likes you and wants you, she'll stick around for the discussion.
Yes,
She's trying to exploit you and bullshit you.
Yep.
If she throws a big hissy fit, "Well, if you think that of me, I'm not going to be with you because you're not a good man." Say,
You don't trust me.
"Thank you, God." Oh, that was my answer.
Yeah, I saw this trend actually on social media. A lot of women are giving other women advice. Ladies, be careful with this one. Where they say, "Well, you don't reveal any information about you because this can be viewed as a weakness. You don't give out any information about yourself, about your body count for one, and then any of your prior experience. You kind of keep them to yourself.
Okay.
Share them with the man." This is what I've seen a lot.
Okay. I can respond to that as a man. I can respond to that. Ladies, if you refuse to give me information, you are plate number 10. You are the plate that I call when all the other plates are busy. Okay? That's how far down on the totem pole you are. If you think that is going to help you get a relationship, yeah, sorry, not with any guy you have any interest in.
Yeah.
Like, and that's the deal. Is like there's this idea that you can just, I don't know, bamboozle men by what, not telling them anything. No, by not telling me something, you are speaking entire books about yourself. Because it goes back to what Steve said. It hurts so much to poke that question that you won't even respond. In the doctor role, that's a 10 on the pain scale when you just blank out from pain. Okay, great. You just told me that you have so much trauma there that the only thing I can use you for is a backup booty call.
Yeah. And
Yeah,
somehow
okay.
they expect men to be their therapists. They want men to unleash their layers of trauma, and
Not
yeah,
my
it's not going
circus,
to
not
work.
my monkeys.
Exactly, it's not going to work, ladies.
Okay, we've been talking about women. Red flags, green flags. That's not the most important thing. Because in order to use this, what's needed? The man has to have self-discipline and the ability to go in there and endure pain for gain. It's the ability to risk, to find out what's going on. So stop looking for the perfect woman or the good enough woman. If you are not a man who has the balls, the courage to go in there and be in control of yourself and actually provoke or, prod to see if there's some triggers out there. If you're afraid to upset her and trigger her, okay, well, you're not going to find out the truth. And you might as well just marry her, have a joint bank account, and walk in blindly because you're going to be destroyed.
Steve, you know what I would tell those men? Honestly, personally, don't get married. She's going to use the system to destroy you. Just
Exactly.
If you can't take the pain of going in and diagnosing these women, and I'm not using the word diagnose in a medical sense per se. Think of it more like triage. Your job is to figure out very quickly, is this woman a candidate or is she just another plate? Okay. When I first went to meet Elena, I had all the backup plans in place. If the meeting didn't work out, I was going to be fine no matter what. Okay. Obviously, the meeting worked out. But I never looked at it and said, it's my job to go in and rescue this woman. We met in a European country, so I had a whole long list of places that I wanted to go see and visit, and I could do that on my own. I could get myself around. I spoke enough of the language, the local language, to be passable, to get myself around. I would have been fine. Okay. That is a man who has a plan. That is a man who has the discipline. That is a man who has control of his own life. And remember, guys, I'm divorced at this point, and I've done these things. So
what you're saying is vetting a woman requires planning and is an active thing.
Yes,
not
sir.
A passive thing.
Yes. You have to plan for this. And if you're looking for an LTR, you're going to spend a lot of time throwing away candidates. And, so Elena and I met online. It's pretty much the only way to meet when you're, thousands of miles apart. But I can tell you that there were a lot of candidates, a lot available to me. She knew that.
I didn't even have a profile picture on that. Because I was there, I didn't have any luck, like with
Well, without a
When I
profile
heard it,
picture, you're not going to get a lot of luck.
yeah, well, because it was the guys were just simping, or well, I back then I didn't know all of the vocabulary that Redfield has introduced me into, but yeah, I saw a lot of like crazy guys. Some of them just wanted, they didn't care whom they marry, they just wanted to have kiddos, and they would take any woman to pop them up kids, and
Okay,
be
guys,
fine with
she
it.
didn't have a profile picture, but she did have an accurate description in her bio of what she looked like.
Yeah,
So I could kind of figure out. And here's the thing. From her, I want you guys to consider this. Okay, she actually reached out to me where we met. She reached out first. But the thing is, if she had lied on her bio, we would have never met, because I would have been looking for something different. Okay? So, yeah, she didn't have a picture out there, but that actually made it a little more difficult for her to lie, if you know what I mean. Because if she lied, I'd never, I'd be looking for something else. It's not there. I'd never find it.
Exactly.
Now, it did make it harder. I won't deny that. Remember, I'm fresh off an overnight flight.
I told you what I was wearing, so you could recognize me in the crowd.
Yes, you did.
Elena, show me your fingernails. What? Look at that.
I play a bunch of musical instruments.
Okay, she plays musical instruments. Yeah, who cares? I mean, it's that's a good thing. But if you find a woman with long, done-up fingernails,
Run.
what the hell? She's an entitled princess. She can't do any work. It's not even practical. How's she gonna bake? How's she gonna scrub the floor?
Well,
Okay,
you will
and I'm
hire
not
your
saying-
maid. Steve, you will hire your maid.
I'm not saying a woman needs to scrub the floor all the time, but if she's got long fingernails, she's so much of a princess. That thought is beyond her. As a man, the floor is dirty. I don't have a problem getting down and scrubbing the floor. But if I'm wifing up a woman and I'm providing for her, she also needs to be able to scrub the floor. And if she's a prima donna with long fingernails, you know what? It screams high maintenance to me, because I don't.
Well, it is.
They're not attractive. They're
Correct.
impractical.
Correct.
It makes her basically a useless woman.
It's a trophy. She's a trophy. And
I don't
here's
need
the
a
thing,
trophy.
guys. Here's the thing, guys. Guess what Elena did not have when we met? Long nails.
Well, I had them a little longer because I didn't have my musical instrument. with me.
No. We're talking about claws.
Oh, well, claws. Yeah, I didn't have those.
Your nails were manicured, they were taken care of, but you had no trouble operating, buttons and machinery and
Yeah.
I mean, remember, guys, we're talking about Europe here. This is a place of, old school architecture meets new school technology. You kind of work with what you get. Yes, her building had an elevator. Didn't always work, I saw
That elevator. Oh my gosh. I remember once I came there with my sister. We had 2 huge luggages. It was fun. The elevator didn't work, and we were living on the 7th floor, so we had to drag all of those luggages upstairs.
Right. So, you have to do actual work, and she had to. But that's
Okay.
It wasn't fun.
It's a good
It wasn't
example.
fun. The buildings
So,
are so old, guys. The building where we were living, they look so beautiful on the outside, and this is how they
getting
tried
sidetracked.
Okay, sorry.
So, given that circumstance, is the man observing the woman? Does the woman, once she realizes this, sit on the bottom stair in the lobby and start crying because I can't lift this up to the 7th floor, and she starts crying until a man comes along to rescue her. Say, "Oh, young, beautiful damsel, I will carry this up 7 floors." Or does she say, "Well, damn, this sucks. Guess I better get the job done. It might take me a while. I can take breaks.
We were
Let's get
taking a
after
lot
it."
of breaks with my sister. You know, it was funny because we arrived late at night. Everybody was asleep. So even if we could catch some, like nobody was there. You know, so we had to do it. We had to do it by ourselves.
Yeah. One of the other, okay, you want to talk about another green flag? A woman who looks at a problem and says, well, I don't know how I'm going to fix this, but I'm going to fix it. That's the kind of woman who's going to dive into relationship problems and work to fix them. That's a person who's going to, we need to buckle down and get this work done. Elena and I have moved a number of times since getting married. She hates moving.
I do.
She still gets it done. Okay. Again, I'm not saying she has to be all, for you guys out there, the woman doesn't have to be all masculine and ripped. As you guys can probably guess, I'm not into ripped girls. My choice is being made obvious by what you see on the screen. But there's a certain level of she's willing to get her hands dirty to get the job done. And you work there, and that implies a willingness to work together to solve a larger problem, because moving a house is a big deal. It's a lot of work.
Well, that implies some. Well, here's what normally happens. A woman thinks, well, we're in a partnership and we have equality.
Oh no.
Okay. Let's test that. Okay, it's time to move. Oh, it's time to mow the lawn. Oh, we need to go dig a hole in the backyard. Do we have equality then? Oh no, that's your job. I have my long nails. I'll take care of ordering us takeout food.
It was so funny. I remember.
Yeah. How's equality working for you? How's this partnership working for you when the man gets all the shit jobs and she's got long fingernails?
Yeah.
No.
Well,
okay, it's not a partnership, but no, she needs to step up, and it's not, oh, that's his job. Maybe she needs to get out there and be willing to work with him, beside him. Now, would you ever expect a woman to do 50% of the work,
No.
labor? No. Hell no. But is she willing to be there, do that, get her hands dirty?
Oh, Elena, guess what's coming up in a few months?
What?
Springtime. What does springtime mean?
The weeds again. Oh, don't remind me. I hate them. It's like we just killed them, and
we gotta
it's
do it
never
again.
enough. Never enough.
Okay. So guys, what you saw was a visceral reaction to the fact that she knows that in a few months she's going to have to go out and pull weeds. Now, here's the deal. I'm out there working too. Now, I'll be working with the chemicals. She won't be working with the chemicals. I run the mower. I mean, she's not a very big girl, and the mower it's
bigger
heavy.
than me.
Well, right. Okay. Yes, I deal with all the trash. Well, because our trash is actually fairly heavy. And again, she's just, she's a 5 pound, 7 pound weight girl, not a, curling 20, 30 pounds girl. Okay. There are things that as a guy that I'm going to do, but guess what? She's going to be out there doing in April and May and June. She's going to be out there with shovels and implements pulling weed, and you can see on her face that she's just so looking forward to it.
So excited, guys. I'll make a video. I'll share it in the IG stories.
But
Yeah.
it's coming. But here's the thing, she'll do
Oh.
it. She doesn't like it. She bitches and moans
And every
loudly,
single time, I hate it. I hate it. I'm
but
so
she
tired.
does it.
Yeah.
I'm also
Well, the
allergic.
reminder
I'm
is
allergic.
you don't need to like it. You just need to do it.
Exactly.
Or the HOA will fine us.
Again.
Yeah.
You know, oh gosh.
Well, hey,
Yeah.
that's your those are your choices. And if you, the woman, are sitting there saying, telling the man he has to do this, all this work, and then particularly I get annoyed with women. You do all the work, and then the women come along and they complain that you didn't do it right.
Yeah.
Bitch. Yeah, that's if you do that, I may be looking for a lawyer, if you know what I mean.
It's just ingrained in a man that, oh, here's something that needs to be done and it sucks. Well, I guess you're just gonna have to get started and do it. And in a lot of women, it's ingrained in them that, oh, I see something that sucks. Where's a man that I can get to do that?
Yep. and look, guys, as I said, Elena doesn't like doing this stuff. But okay, I remember from last year now officially, when we had to go through the same thing. I had to cajole, I had to prod. She didn't just immediately jump to and say, "Yes, sir, we're gonna go do weeds now." Yeah, see there, she knows what I'm talking about.
Well, it was so freezing cold. It was in February when they sent us a notification that we had
I
to
know.
clean the
I
yard.
know.
It was just like it makes no sense.
It was
It-
hard
the-
work.
The earth was so cold. It was nearly impossible
Yeah.
to pull all of the weeds
That's
out.
true. That's all true. Still
Like-
got to be done.
Ah,
Well, let's maybe bring this to a conclusion. Is vetting a woman a science or is it an art?
Art. Speaking as somebody who's done it, art.
So, guys, if you're looking for a checklist of what makes a good woman,
Sorry.
no. I mean, we kind of gave you a checklist of things to do, but there's a lot of processing and evaluation, and there's no go, no go, or the boundary between good, pass, kind of flexible. You're going to have to interpret and figure out if there's merit here. No, you can't fix her. You can't develop her potential and turn her into something greater than she was. But you need to assess her character. And for a lot of women, they want to hide their warts. They want to present themselves as, hiding their blemishes in order to be loved. But then later on, they'll realize that they were never really loved for who they are because they never showed who they are, and they will leave you because it wasn't real love.
so true.
So you got to spend the time and you got to poke and prod and you got to observe. And women bleed information.
Yeah,
And
and
you do.
I
But
just
women
want-
bleed information when she's not paying attention or she's talking about some other woman over there. She's bleeding information about herself.
yes.
Don't ignore that. Keep mental notes because she will reveal her nature, her character in the times when she's not paying attention. And does that match with the overall picture of herself that she is trying to show you?
Also, if she has a social media account or a bunch of accounts, watch what kind of content she posts there. It will tell you a lot about her.
Oh,
And
that's a whole thing we didn't
it's a
even get into.
yeah, we didn't get into, but I did make a couple of videos, short videos, guys. You can scroll back in history, check my shorts, and see how to vet a woman based on her content that she posts, and then also watch what her priorities are. Is she a team woman or a team human? Steve?
That's going to be harder to do early on because she's not going to commit to those roles. I mean, right away.
Yeah, but
You didn't commit to team her man until much later.
well, yeah, but even then, when we realized that we wanted to be together, I kind of had to be on your team, even when we were talking through
Sure,
Skype.
but
And
that's more of a later thing.
yeah, well,
Um,
this is why I'm trying to, like
right.
cover some of those aspects too.
Normally, I would say that social media is a red flag, and I do believe that it is. But these days, they all have it, so it's kind of a pointless red flag.
Well, it's not that that it's red flag by itself. It's the type of content that she posts. If she only posts them,
no. Social media is a red flag. And remember, you were off social media when we met.
I didn't have any. Yeah.
Right. Okay. Yeah. No. Having social media is a red flag, but because almost all of them have it, you kind of have to. You're going to have to decide how much you care, and then you can turn around and use it to vet her. So it's not without merit, but
Exactly.
Watch what she's saying on social media.
Exactly. Yeah, because it will give you the idea whether she has the potential of being a team woman or a team human. Whether she will
No,
be
it
on
won't. No, it's too curated. It's way too curated for that.
or like because they select what kind
yeah.
of
No,
content.
you won't learn anything directly about watch what she curates and how she curates it. You know, if she has lots of bikini pics, well, she's trolling, right? It's more about that. So take what you can get from it, but don't put so much weight into what is the meaning of this picture versus that picture.
And then when you meet your family, also, I think this is where Shu wanted us to explore more. How do you see that she's a decent girl, like when she's with your family?
That goes back to meeting their family is one thing, but really, you're gonna know if you've been paying attention to how she talks about her family. You're going to know roughly how it goes with the family. When I met your family, I already knew exactly how it was going to go. Okay. Because I'd been paying attention much earlier to how you talked about them. So yeah, it's okay. Shu, if you're out there listening to that, if you get to the point where she's talking and you're talking to her family directly and you're being surprised, honestly, dude, guys, that's a bit of a failure on your part because you weren't paying enough attention earlier on. I don't know, Steve, am I wrong on that?
No, I think that's right because she's wearing a mask. She's trying to convince you of something that's not true. Make you believe things that, here's evidence that, no, that's not the way it is. She's lying to you.
Yeah.
You know what? That's just unacceptable. Who the hell are you getting in a relationship with if she's going to lie to you about herself? Okay, you can never love a woman that is a lie because you can't love the real person. You don't know the real person.
Yeah. So, okay, there's our hot take for the day. If you get to meeting a woman's family and you're blindsided by the relationships, you need to go back to the drawing board on your.
Yeah, but maybe you will notice something that she hasn't told you yet, like the intersexual dynamics between your mother and your father.
No. I think based on my experience that if you get that far and you're still learning, either she's done a fantastic job of lying or you weren't paying attention. And Steve just got done saying that women leak information all over the place. So
Yeah.
Guys, connect the dots.
And you'll continue. You will get a better picture of her
Mhm.
after you meet her family.
You will.
And she may have misunderstood and therefore inadvertently misrepresented some things because she didn't quite understand it right.
Yeah.
Okay, that's fine. Was it intentional?
Mm-hmm.
Probably not. And do you know what? It is a guy going through a divorce, figuring these things out. Takes me a lot of time to process through and figure out what is it
Mhm.
about me? What's going on? How do I interpret women? It's the same thing with women. They don't know
They're not
how to
perfect.
process some of this stuff.
Yeah, they're not
Well,
perfect.
And
I
so
just-
don't expect perfection. That's why we said this vetting is an art, not a science. It's not a thing that can be managed by checklists.
Women are also figuring out what works on men and what doesn't work on men, so they might start restructuring their arguments and what they say on social media and how they behave with men. And then the only way to find out really will be to see how she interacts
you have to pay
in the
attention.
family.
You
Well, you have to pay
look,
attention, yes, but it's for a lot of men, it's going to be hard because if they like,
if it's as hard as they want to make it.
okay,
Okay, the less attention you pay, the harder it's going to be. Okay, you're vetting this person for a long-term relationship, and you're vetting them for a relationship that can destroy you if you're wrong. My
Yeah.
personal opinion, you need to be putting an enormous amount of energy into this, but a lot of guys don't.
exactly.
You know, oh, she touched my pee-pee.
Well-
Okay, you know, I'm all in it. No. Okay, here's the thing though. If you are self-disciplined, the she just touched my pee-pee isn't going to be a problem. But if you're self-disciplined, you're also going to be able to do the vetting process and pay attention to it. Guys, your self-discipline is key to a successful relationship.
So true. So true.
Do you guys know the difference between hurt and harm?
I do, but Elena may not.
Yeah,
I mean,
tell us.
she is ESL, so
Okay. Oh, okay.
Hurt is from
You know,
pain.
I'm
right?
paraphrasing here.
Okay, go
I'm
ahead.
paraphrasing. Do not take this absolutely literally. But it's okay to hurt a woman. It's not okay to harm a woman. Okay. What does that mean? It's okay to emotionally hurt a woman.
that's exactly
Not
what I was
okay
thinking.
to emotionally harm a woman.
Mhm.
It's okay to physically hurt. And okay, I'm using this broadly to, grab her a little bit too hard. Oh, that hurts.
Restraint
See?
is okay. Physical
Okay.
restraint, even.
Okay, that's just a hurt. A hurt is way less in magnitude than harm. Because you know what? Just going through life, you're going to hurt people.
Yep.
Just asserting your rights, just being yourself. Yeah, other people are going to be hurt, but do not take it to the harm level.
So
And
should
that's important in the vetting process. If you ask her a question that could trigger her, are you hurting her? Absolutely, you are hurting her. Are you harming her? No.
so what would be considered as harm? Emotionally harming a woman?
Oh, you could do all sorts of things. For example, gaslighting is harming somebody because now you've taken it out of the. So I'm going to do an example from physical punishment. You know, I've said before on various streams that we had, when I was growing up, corporeal punishment. My dad had a paddle that we called the equalizer. Long story behind that, right? Getting hit by that thing hurt a lot, but it didn't harm us. It made us stronger, okay? Both physically and mentally. Okay. Sometimes in a relationship, I have to emotionally hurt you. I have to say, no, stop. Okay. In fact, that happened this week.
Yes.
You guys heard it in her voice. Okay.
Many times.
No, it wasn't many times. It was only one topic. You just refused to drop it
Mhm.
until you got past the emotional hurt, and were actually willing to listen. Okay. So it's hurtful to hear no. You don't want to hear it. It hurts. I don't want to hear no. I want to hear that what I want is good, and I'm going to get everything I want, and that will feel good. That doesn't hurt.
Like that button, yes, dear. Do you remember?
Right. Yeah. Okay. Harm is when I turn around and instead of, I'm doing this for, so hurt, I was emotionally hurting you for your own benefit so that you could
Yeah.
learn something. You cannot learn without pain. And I think I even said that to you this week. Okay. Harm is I am now intentionally doing you damage, but the damage I'm doing doesn't help you. It doesn't improve you. It could, like gaslighting. Gaslighting doesn't improve anybody. It doesn't help them with anything. Harm is more for the personal pleasure of watching somebody else in pain. That is evil. Women, when you're doing that to your guy, that is evil. It is. I mean, if you're gaslighting your guy and whatnot, I would say I would say that's abuse, and he has rights to divorce you. That's
Yeah.
my personal view. But you can't turn around and say that when he's saying no, we can't do this because we can't afford it. That's not harm. It's just
Yeah,
not harm.
it's thinking about the consequences.
Right. If I am preventing other worse future consequences, if I cause you a little bit of emotional hurt now to prevent a real consequence in the future, that is
Mhm.
not harm. I don't know, Steve. Did I do that justice?
I think so.
Okay. We can end it there.
If you stub your toe, does it hurt? Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're limping tomorrow, you were harmed. You're not. You weren't harmed. You were just hurt.
Yeah.
It's a matter of degree.
Nuance.
I see. Again, it's nuance. Okay, you don't know where the boundary between hurt and harm is. You can't define it, but you know it when you see it.
Great quote from a Supreme Court justice. I'll know it when I see it.
Okay, I have one last question.
Okay.
For Elena.
Oh.
Did we accomplish the primary task of this stream to affirm and compliment you and let you know that you're a good woman and a good choice?
Oh, Steve!
Oh, it
You
had
couldn't.
to be
You
asked.
just couldn't leave it that way, right? You had to.
Nope. Hey, if you want to be around real men and you want
I
to be around the
know.
red pill,
I'm just picking on you guys. Yes, I feel so much better now, especially after the week of being hurt.
Elena knows that I'm honest with her, and I'm not afraid to hurt her feelings at times, but I care. And, I help her understand things, but she's not surprised that I asked the question.
Of course not. In fact, I expected something like that. Yeah, guys, it was a fun discussion. Tell us if you'd like us to dive into some related topics around this topic, or if you have any suggestions, drop a comment in the comment section and tell us what you think. Okay, and remember to please like, share, and subscribe. I shared a new schedule, but somehow it didn't save it. So, oops, hold on a moment here. I'm trying to share our schedule. Where is the overlay? Is it this one? Yes.
that's your old
Okay,
one.
I changed it. Yeah, now it's a new one. I just was looking for it in a wrong spot. Yeah, join us for interesting discussions like that on Saturdays at 9:15 a.m. Pacific. Then on Mondays through Fridays, join us for regular workouts at 9:15 a.m. Pacific. And then on Sundays, I have my crazy piano practice. Join us; it's a lot of fun. And on Wednesdays at 5:45 p.m. Pacific, guys on the Resurgence of Sanity have their show. So go subscribe to their YouTube channel, The Resurgence of Sanity, and you're going to have some fun there, right?
Yeah, we had to cut back to once a week because, frankly, we have jobs, and it was getting to be, is between the show and the jobs, and we like our jobs. I think I do. Just can't speak for Steve.
Yeah, so it's only once a week on Wednesdays, okay? And I'm usually there. I try to join your discussions. I really enjoy your discussions, guys, but I'm usually late because of my Pilates class. Yeah. Well, it was fun. Remember to please like, share, and subscribe. We appreciate your help and your support, guys, and we'll see you next time, okay? Have a wonderful day, everyone. Thanks for watching. Bye.
Bye.
Elena's Barre, Elena's Barre, the best place on the internet, the very best by far.